really surprised at what you see in the bottom of that mirror when she gets closer to the mirror. Look at the middle and the bottom of it.
Did you know that people still talk about mysteries with Elvis's name in the years after he died? A lot of creepy stories about ghostly appearances and strange events that can't be explained circle his legacy, but they are kept from the public. Why did these ghostly sightings stay out of the public eye? Could the truth be so upsetting that it would change the way we see Elvis for good? This one is scary. Staff at Graceland have said they saw Elvis's shadow wandering in his favorite room, and they could hear faint strains of his music playing through the night. And if you think this is scary already, wait until you hear the 8th story. It might make you question everything. Stay with us as we tell you the 10 creepiest Elvis Presley ghost stories, guaranteed to keep you awake and questioning the boundary between reality and the supernatural. Graceland, the Memphis mansion that Elvis Presley called home, stands as a symbol of his larger-than-life legacy. But this iconic estate holds more than just memories of the king's extravagant lifestyle. It is also said to be the center of eerie, unexplained phenomena. Over the years, visitors, staff members, and even paranormal investigators have reported unsettling experiences that suggest Elvis's presence lingers within its walls. One of the most talked about areas of the mansion is Elvis's private quarters, a place he cherished deeply. Though this area is off limits to the public, numerous accounts describe a strange presence that seems to resonate there. Staff members have spoken about hearing faint, unmistakable strains of Elvis's voice singing late at night. These ghostly melodies seem to emerge from nowhere, and obviously it often leaves those who hear them frozen with fear. Apart from these auditory phenomena, many people have claimed to see shadowy figures moving through the hallways, particularly near Elvis's favorite rooms. Some say these ghosts were just fleeting shadows, while others say they saw a figure that looked a lot like Elvis. People who see these things often feel strange things like a quick drop in temperature or the sense that they are being watched. Even objects in the mansion seem to have a mind of their own. Staff members have often found things moved or changed in strange ways, as if someone were controlling them from behind. For instance, a guitar that was on display in one room was allegedly found leaning against a wall, even though it had been put down securely before. These occurrences raise a question. Could Elvis's emotional attachment to Graceland be so strong that his spirit refuses to leave? Graceland is more than just a memorial to Elvis for many people. It's a living reminder that his spirit lives on in ways that are hard to explain. Sun Studio in Memphis is an important place in music history because it was there that Elvis Presley's groundbreaking career began. Here's where he made his first hits, which helped him become famous. But the people who work at Sun Studio still think that Elvis never really left the building, even though he died decades ago. People who work late have told scary stories about hearing soft singing and guitar strums coming from the recording booth. Most of the time, these sounds are especially scary because the studio is empty at that time. Witnesses say these times are both hypnotic and scary. Imagine being in a quiet studio and all of a sudden hearing the sound of music coming from the booth where Elvis used to be. Paranormal experts have looked at the studio to try to figure out what is going on. Using high-tech tools, they found strange electromagnetic activity in certain places, mostly near Elvis's favorite microphone. This microphone, which used to record his deep voice, now seems to be the center of strange events that no one can explain. Investigators saw large energy spikes, which made them think that Elvis's presence was still felt in the place. The fact that these events keep happening makes them even more interesting. The claims are more likely to be true because many workers and visitors have had similar experiences. There are people who see these events as proof of how much Elvis loved his work. It's as if the king's energy is still felt in the place where he changed music forever. At Graceland, the ghostly events are connected to Elvis's personal life. At Sun Studio, on the other hand, they seem to be connected to his work life. Because they are read together, They show a heritage that is so deep that it goes beyond life and death. When people go to Sun Studio, it's not just a trip through music history, it's also a chance to feel the ghost of a hero. There was a scary event in Las Vegas that left both fans and performers speechless. In this city, tribute artists bring famous people to life. A tribute artist who was acting as Elvis Presley said that they saw a person in the crowd who looked a lot like the king. The mystery person stood out because they were wearing Elvis's famous white jumpsuit, which was worn during his shows in Las Vegas. What made the sighting even scarier was that the artist was making direct eye contact with the ghostly figure. When someone saw the figure, it disappeared into thin air, leaving a spooky silence behind. The fact that other people in the crowd confirmed the story makes it even more solid. Several people said they felt an odd chill when the person showed up. A dim glow was even seen and made it hard to believe it was just someone dressed as Elvis. The entire atmosphere in the room changed, making it feel uneasy. This incident raises many questions. Was it just a figment of everyone's mind, fed by the strong feelings that an Elvis tribute stirred up? Or did the king really feel like he was back in his great days because of the performance's energy? People who are interested in the paranormal often say that strong emotional ties, like the love of fans, can tie a spirit to a place or event. Since then, both followers and skeptics have talked about the story. No matter what happened, the event will always be remembered by those who were there, adding another layer of mystery to the tale of Elvis Presley. People who believe in ghosts and spirits say that what happened shows that the king is still around, even though he has been dead for decades. The Cadillac is haunted. As well known as Elvis Presley's music was his love of cars. A Cadillac was one of his most prized belongings. This famous car is now kept in a museum so that fans can spend time looking at it. But it's not just the car's historical value that draws people in. Strange things that have happened around it have given it a reputation for being cursed. People who have been to the museum have said that strange things have happened around the Cadillac. Few people say they can hear the sound of an engine running when the car is off and locked. Others have said they saw a dark figure that looked like Elvis sitting in the driver's seat and grabbing the steering wheel like they were ready to go for a drive. These appearances don't last long, they usually go away as soon as someone gets close. The museum staff was originally skeptical, but now they agree that something strange is going on. Even after careful checks and extra safety steps, they still can't figure out what the sounds or sightings are. When paranormal investigators looked at the car, they noticed strange electromagnetic readings around it, which could mean that there was a supernatural spirit there. The fact that Elvis is said to have had a strong emotional connection to his Cadillac makes this story even more interesting. Fans and experts of the paranormal often think that things that are very important to them can hold energy and let spiritual activity flow through them. Elvis's big personality used to be represented by this car. Could it now be a link to his wild spirit? Skeptics might say that these events are just people's overactive imaginations, but the large number of reports gives the idea of something supernatural more weight. The haunted Cadillac is still one of the most interesting stories about Elvis Presley. Interesting to both fans and people who are interested in ghosts. Whether it's a piece of his spirit that lives on or just a strange way that people see things, this car keeps adding to the king's fame. The Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino is an important part of Elvis Presley's life. During his prime, this building was called the International Hotel, and it was here that Elvis played hundreds of sold-out shows night after night. Today, it's not just his music or souvenirs that get people's attention. Guests who stay in the suites that the king used to live in say they have seen ghosts. Many tourists have said that the rooms seem to have an icy chill that they can't explain. Even though the thermostat is turned up, it's still cold, making the room feel uneasy. People have mostly noticed this happening in Elvis's favorite suite, where he spent a lot of time getting ready for shows and resting alone. Another regular occurrence is footsteps echoing through empty rooms. Late at night, guests can hear the clear sound of boots pacing the floor. Some people think it's just noises from an old building, but others are sure it's something or someone else. One of the things that could seem more mysterious is the strong smell of Elvis's favorite cologne, which has been mentioned by many visitors. This smell comes on quickly and then goes away just as quickly, leaving people confused. A guest said she saw a man who looked a lot like Elvis standing by the window and looking out at the Las Vegas skyline. This is one of the scariest stories. She said he was dressed in a white outfit that looked a lot like Elvis's famous stage clothes. She got up the courage to go up to the figure, but as she did, she saw it disappear before her eyes. Many people are now wondering if Elvis's spirit is still connected to the place where he gained such great fame. According to paranormal experts, places can hold traces of strong emotional energy. For Elvis, the Westgate may hold a piece of his lasting memory. Fans from all over the world come to Graceland to see Elvis Presley's final resting place, which is very moving for them. But for some visitors, going to the King's grave to pay their respects has become an out-of-this-world event. The peaceful area, which includes a beautifully landscaped meditation garden, has been the site of strange, unexplained events that continue to stump both believers and doubters. Many people say they have seen a figure near the grave, especially early in the morning or late at night. This ghostly presence seems to hover or stay still before slowly going away as people get closer. Some people say these sightings are just light tricks or people's minds going crazy, but the number of reports like these forces to think there's more to the story. Even some people who visit say they can hear whispers and soft strains of music in the garden. People who have been through this say it is both hauntingly beautiful and deeply disturbing. A lot of people think the voice sounds like Elvis's, which adds to the idea that his spirit is still around to talk to his fans. Strange things have been seen around the gravesite on security video from Graceland, such as orbs of light and shadowy movements. Officials usually don't pay much attention to these things, but fans and people who are interested in the paranormal have made guesses about where they come from and why they might be signs of strange activity. There is an undeniable emotional energy around Elvis's grave where thousands of fans come every year to honor his memory. It's not clear if these strange events are caused by leftover psychic energy or just the power of suggestion. But one thing is for sure, many people feel the King's presence, even after he has died. There are many things that are connected to Elvis Presley. One of his prized guitars is known for both its historical importance and its strange behavior. This guitar is kept in a private collection, and it is said to make soothing sounds like it is being strummed, even when no one is near it. People thought that Elvis's guitar was one of his favorites because he played it so much during small concerts. The piano was carefully stored after he died and kept as a reminder of his amazing musical legacy. But the guitar has been the center of some strange events over the years. Owners and guests to the collection say they can hear clear, soft notes rising from the strings. The fact that these sounds happen in a totally silent place where nothing else could explain them makes them even scarier. Using high-tech tools, paranormal investigators detected strange sounds coming from the guitar. As long as the room was closed off, there was no wind or other physical interference that could have moved the strings. Also, readings of the temperature near the guitar changed for no apparent reason, which added to the puzzle. There are many ideas about where these eerie sounds come from. Some people think that Elvis's energy, which was deeply connected to his music and the guitar, may still be around. Others say it might be a residual energy imprint, an idea that is often talked about in paranormal circles and means that emotionally charged items hold on to memories of the past. RCA Studio B in Nashville has a lot of musical history. It is known as the place where many famous artists, including Elvis Presley, made their first hits. But in the past few years, this famous studio has become known for a much darker event. A group of tourists were shocked when they saw a ghost. People who were taking a tour of the studio met in the control room, a place where Elvis worked so hard to perfect his sound. As the tour guide talked about the King's time in the studio, something strange happened. A slow voice was heard singing a part of one of Elvis's most famous songs, Can't Help Falling in Love. The music was soft but clear, like it came from a faraway place that couldn't be seen. The tour guide told the group that there was no one else in the building at that time. The studio was locked and no recording systems were turned on because of security rules. Still, the scary voice kept going for a few seconds before it stopped. Some tourists said they could feel a chill in the air, while others said they felt like someone was watching them. The clues that were left behind make this event even stranger. Audio recordings made during the tour caught the voice that no one could understand, providing solid proof of the phenomenon. The voice sounded a lot like Elvis's, according to paranormal experts who looked at the video. However, skeptics say it could just be a technical mistake or an auditory illusion. The scary event at RCA Studio B adds a supernatural element to the studio's already extensive past, whether it was the King himself or something else that can't be explained. For Elvis and ghost hunters, it's a reminder that the King's presence is still captivating and mysterious even after he's dead. A small hotel in the quiet Mississippi town of Tupelo is famous for the ghostly things that happen there. This is where Elvis Elvis Presley was born. There is a room in this hotel that has a reputation for being so scary that the management has decided not to let people in. The stories about this room have made the people who have stayed there very uneasy. People who have stayed in the room say strange things happen that don't make sense. It seems like flickering lights are acting on their own because they turn on and off at random times, even though the electricity systems are said to be working fine. Another common occurrence is sudden drops in temperature. Visitors have described a strong cold that doesn't match the outside weather or the climate control in the hotel. The most scary thing is the sound of someone singing late at night. The tune sounds a lot like Elvis Presley's music, which makes a lot of people wonder where it came from. As the question grew, guests who went to where the sound came from found no one there. These problems have happened so often that the management has stopped letting out the room because they can't promise a quiet stay. There is still no answer to the question of whether the link comes from his spirit or is just leftover energy. An Elvis lookalike who had scary experiences with the supernatural is at the center of one of the strangest and scariest Elvis ghost stories. The mimic, who made a living by performing the King's famous roles, said that his life became very scary after a string of strange events. It started with small but strange events. Things in his house moved on their own, sometimes slowly, like a chair moving an inch, and sometimes wildly, like framed photos falling off the walls. Voices that didn't belong to anyone escalated the disturbances. The impersonator heard clear but faint words spoken in a voice that sounded eerily like Elvis's. It all came together in a vivid dream. In the dream, Elvis himself showed up and told the impersonator to stop acting like him. The warning wasn't just serious, it almost seemed angry, like the impersonator's tribute wasn't welcome. When the impersonator woke up, he was soaked in sweat and his room was cold, even though it was hot outside. This series of incidents made the mimic give up his job because he thought that Elvis's spirit didn't like his impersonations. People have different opinions about the story, and no matter what anyone thinks about it, the story has left an indelible mark and added another mysterious part to Elvis Presley's life. Elvis Presley may have left the mortal world, but these stories suggest his presence lingers in ways we can't fully understand. Whether you're an Elvis fan, a skeptic, or a paranormal enthusiast, these stories remind us of the mysteries that defy explanation. Which of these ghostly encounters shook you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know if you've ever experienced something similar. Don't forget to share this with fellow Elvis fans and paranormal enthusiasts, and subscribe for more spine-chilling stories.